Minecraft is a video game that honestly doesn't need an introduction. It is the best-selling video game in history, with nearly 200 million copies sold, and has had an impressive cultural impact on the current world, generating its own variety of urban legends. Millions and millions of videos on the internet, and even driving education through the video game in several countries. We had something that looked like Minecraft Story Mode, a comedy drama of a game with colorful blocks, and a few days ago Minecraft Earth was announced, an augmented reality sandbox game of Minecraft that will have a beta in a month. New trailer for Minecraft Dungeons, a dungeon crawler set in Minecraft World, also released, scheduled for spring 2020. However, this story actually starts much earlier. The initial public launch of the original Minecraft, which is now referred to as Classic, occurred a decade ago and would signify the start of the extraordinary phenomenon that Minecraft was and continues to be. This classic version would evolve over the years with an impressive number of updates. But the first update that we are interested in for today is version 1.0.14, released on July 30th, 2010. This would give us many important things like chickens, eggs, minecarts with furnaces and chests, but most importantly, it would give us jukeboxes and the first two discs we could play, 13 and Cat. Cat is a joyful rendition made with synthesizers, and 13 was peculiar. It was not a song, but rather ambient sounds that I will demonstrate to you in just a few minutes. In the second pre-release of Minecraft Beta 1.9, on September 29th, 2011, we received another 9 discs, and on December 15th of the same year, it was made that all discs were obtainable in the game when a skeleton killed a creeper. Oh, well, not all. Disc 11 couldn't be obtained by playing normally, and we had to wait a whole year before we could get it in survival mode, and even then it was quite difficult to find. This remained the case until the arrival of the Beta Rock Edition, a new version of Minecraft that would allow crossplay between different platforms very easily, and is the most widely used one today. In its Beta 1.2.0.2 version, released on July 31st, 2017, they brought back the discs that were not in the Bedrock Edition, but this time Disc 11 was not obtainable normally, once again only in creative mode. It is not clear if this has changed, that is, if you can now obtain the Disc 11 in survival mode, because getting a specific disc is very difficult, but just by looking at a bit of the disc's history, it becomes clear that this is not normal. So once you obtain this disc, most likely by searching for it in creative mode, you place it on a record player, and this is the sound that it produces. That audio clip lasts 1 minute and 11s. The number 11 seems to be quite important, as when you put the record on a jukebox next to a redstone comparator, it gives you a power level of 11. This is the only broken record in the game, by the way, and it's the only one that ends abruptly with static, and it's telling us a story, evidently something that happened, but is not very clear. However, that is the reason why I am here, so let us initially establish what is occurring on this particular record. This is evidently a recording of an individual fleeing from something. This particular individual is most likely Steve, or some other person or player who is located within a cave system. Through the recording, we can hear monsters and strange sounds in the background as the person runs, and in the end, we can hear what seem to be barks and the whistle of the wind. The audio suddenly cuts off with static and whistles that are characteristic of the endings of songs recorded on an old shellac record. That's all we can say for sure. There are different opinions on the sounds that are heard, such as whether he is actually running or digging, or which monster is chasing him, and it doesn't help either that much of what is heard is not very clear. That's why I decided to spend an afternoon comparing the sound banks of Minecraft with the recording, and I think I have a slightly clearer idea of what's going on there. At the beginning, the human is definitely running on rock, not mining it, and the sounds we hear in the background are the ambience of the caves, but distant, mixed with the interference caused by the record. There is a little-known theory that mentions Steve is in the Nether in Record 11, but due to this and other factors that we will see later, we will realize that it doesn't make much sense. The human suddenly stops and lights a fire with his lighter. He coughs, and we can hear wind, another proof that we are in a cave. All of a sudden, we hear the sound of an unidentified mob, with some people saying it is a ghast, while others claim it is a zombie pigman. But after thoroughly reviewing all the sound banks, I can say that it is an audio that we do not find within the game at all, but in my opinion, it resembles the sounds made by an Enderman. Then he takes out some book or map or something similar and reads it for some reason, using the fire he lit with his lighter. He puts out his fire, closes what he was looking at, and seemingly starts to be chased by something. The man puts away his lighter and goes for a run. The record ends before we know what happens, with what seems to be a bark. It is evident that it seems to be an Enderman chasing him, and that the human is running out of the cave to the safety of his dogs. And though this may seem logical and convincing, we haven't analyzed the second side of the mystery, Disc 13. This is the only other record with a mystery. Not as obvious as the one from Record 11, this record is complete and lasts longer. It's a record with ambient sounds inside a cave. But if we analyze it carefully, we will realize that it's also telling us a story. Now, I can't show you everything because it's stupidly long, almost 3 minutes. But the story is much clearer after listening to many cave sounds for 1 minute. At minute 105, we hear 2 bow shots in the distance, and only one hits the wall, so the other arrow hits someone at 1.5 minutes. Conveniently, as this is record 13, the music stops completely and we experience silence. And here is where it gets interesting. Exactly 11 seconds after it cuts off, a creeper exploding can be heard, and after the explosion, something falls into water. After a while, we hear a sound that seems to be wet footsteps, although it's not certain. And then the ambient sounds increase in volume, and after a few seconds, the recording ends. So we have a clear narrative. Someone, a human like Steve, is in a cave and shoots, or is shot at twice. An arrow hits its target, and if the recording is interrupted, this person is attacked by a creeper after an unspecified duration of time. The explosion throws her into a pool of water, and she crawls out and leaves. So let's recap. We have the record 11, one that lasts 1 minute and 11s, and that is damaged, and it tells us the story of a player fleeing something in a cave. We also have record 13, one that lasts about 3 minutes. It cuts off at 1:30. 11 seconds after the cut, the story resumes with an individual running away from a creeper in a cave. This mystery has provided numerous theories, some intriguing, but most of them relying solely on the imagination of the author. In my opinion, I have the definitive explanation to this mystery, but I would like to first clarify the popular solutions that are false. There are rumors, for example, that the 2 discs can be combined to create disc 24, which is nothing more than a creepypasta without any kind of basis. In the real world, this simply isn't possible unless you want to use mods. There are also those who think that if you play both records at the same time, it sounds like a good narrative, and although they are evidently connected, the silent time being exactly 11s on record 13 doesn't suggest another option, which I will talk about in a while. And besides, they don't match, so they shouldn't be played simultaneously. Some players want to fix record 11, something impossible, or locate record 12, something non-existent. There is a titanic amount of nonsense in forums, YouTube comments, and videos, among which are those who want to perform a ritual with the record, enter a specific world seed they've called the seed of record 11. Some believe it's Herobrine, others think it's Entity 303, an old creepypasta. By the way, it's not Herobrine. The composer of the music mentioned earlier that he had no connection to that urban legend. None of those stupid things are helped by the fact that all Minecraft YouTubers seem to make videos about the record with titles that simply lie about what it actually is, and well, they only serve to confuse us more. So, what is actually occurring in the recording? And how are record 11 and record 13 precisely connected to each other in terms of their relationship? Regarding the monster following the human, we have two options, an Enderman or a Creeper. The Enderman seems probable given what we see, but in reality, it doesn't have much to do with the mystery in general. I mean, you get the records when a skeleton kills a creeper, and throughout all our research, the only thing we found was a very faint noise that could or could not be a growl of an Enderman. In my opinion, what gives us our final piece of necessary evidence is the disc 11 passed through a spectrogram. Here we see the audio waves of the record, and at the end we find something intriguing, a face and the digits 12, 4, 18. The primary theory is that the face belongs to Steve, thanks to the photo, but something you probably did not know is that we are not observing the entire spectrogram in that image. Observing it in its entirety like this, we can clearly perceive that the countenance is not Steve's, it is the countenance of a creeper. So, what is the solution to the mystery? Simple, record 11 tells us what occurs in the gap of record 13. Now, this story will have speculation, but it's based on evidence, and truth be told, it's the most solid theory I've found online. We then start with the beginning of record 13. The human is in a cave and is attacked by a skeleton. In my opinion, he is attacked because to obtain the records you need a skeleton 1 creeper, and it would be strange for the human to be fleeing from a creeper later in the story if he has a bow at his disposal. Then this human is attacked by a skeleton. One of the arrows hits him. He manages to escape and uses his flint to give himself light. He opens something, could be a map, but probably a book, since when record 11 added to Minecraft, still long time before maps arrived. Then the human sees the creeper, and since they lack defense, they start running, walking on stones and dirt, but they fail to escape. Creeper explodes, explosion makes it fall into underground body of water. Bark we hear at end of record 11 is one of Screech's damaged record makes. It's not uncommon for a damaged record to have sounds like that when it reaches the damaged part, especially if it's as damaged as record 11. After the blast, the person survives in the water and crawls out of the location, still alive. Suddenly the story makes complete sense, and the only loose end we have, the number 12H418, can be easily explained, and the artist who created record 11 is named C, and 12 is the letter C in hexadecimal. So 12418 is nothing more than her signature. Another curious thing, just to finish, is that on November 9th, 2013, C released a Minecraft music disc titled Minecraft Volume Beta, and there is a song called 1111 in Spanish, which lasts 1 minute and 11s, and starts with the sound of a vinyl record being placed on a record player. There's more to analyze in the song, but I found nothing in the spectrogram. Believed is that record 11 in-game is actually a recording about a record with song 11, as they both last exactly the same, and that record is broken because it was damaged in creeper explosion and human falling into water. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed investigating it. Something I would like to mention is that the original theory was made by a Redditor named Dirt Piper on the Minecraft subreddit, although I did all the research entirely on my own. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and write down the mysteries you would like me to solve in the future. See you in the next video. Goodbye.